Good morning, everyone. Today I'm going to talk about one of the most influential writers and thinkers of the 20th century. Do you guys know who it is? Yes, it is Clive Staples Lewis, or as we all know him, C.S. Lewis. C.S. Lewis is best remembered for writing the Chronicle of Narnia. It is the most popular and the most best-selling books. But his journey towards becoming a writer, a scholar, and a Christian apologist is just as fascinating as the books he wrote.
Now come a soldier who carries a mighty sword. He will tear your city down. Olay, olay, O Lord. Olay, 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 O Lord. He will tear your city down. Olay, olay, O Lord.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about the early life and family of C.S. Lewis. C.S. Lewis was born on November 29, 1898 in Belfast, Northern Ireland. His father, Albert James Lewis, was a successful lawyer. His mother, Florence Augusta Hamilton Lewis, was a daughter of Church of Ireland priest. Lewis grew up in a home surrounded by books. Wow, it shows how intelligent he is. He once described it as a place where there were books in every room, books too deep on the shelves. That early environment sparked his imagination and love for storytelling. He had one older brother named Warren or Horny, who would remain his closest friends for life. Together, the two brothers created an imaginary world called Boxen, which was full of talking animals and heroic adventures. It was their way of escaping the ordinary world, and it gave young Lewis his first experience as a creator of fantasy. However, Lewis' childhood was not all happy, guys. His mother died of cancer when he was only 9 years old, a loss that very deeply affected him and caused him to question his faith in God. Not long after, he was sent away to boarding school in England, where he often felt lonely and disconnected. Alright, now let's talk about the education and early career of C.S. Lewis. So, despite these hardships, Lewis was extremely intelligent. It shows that many books and all of that. And in 1916, he won a scholarship to University College, Oxford. Wow, it's so amazing that many people want to go to that university. But before he could start his studies, World War I began. He enlisted in the British Army and served in France, where he was seriously wounded by friendly fire in 1980. His time in the churches exposed him to death and suffering, which only strengthened his disbelief in God. By the time he returned from the war, he considered himself an atheist. After recovering, Lewis went back to Oxford and completed his studies. He was an outstanding student, earning 3 first-class honors in classics, philosophy, and English literature, something very few people have ever achieved. In 1925, at the age of 26, he became a fellow and tutor in English literature at Magdalen College, Oxford, where he will teach for almost 30 years, guys. Now we're going to talk about how many people must be so confused how C.S. Lewis turned from atheism to faith. So even though Lewis was a respected scholar, he continued to wrestle with questions about religion and the meaning of life. During his early years at Oxford, he described himself as a reluctant atheist, someone who didn't believe in God but wished he could. Everything began to change when he became friends with a group of writers and scholars known as the Inklings. Among them were J.R.R. Tolkien, so it's the author of The Lord of the Rings. So personally, I really like this book and it adapted on movie. And Hugo Dyson. They met regularly at a pub called The Eagle and Child to discuss literature, mythology, and religion. Tolkien, a devout Catholic, challenged Lewis' view of the world. He argued that Christianity was not just a myth but the true myth, a story that actually happened. After years of reflection, Lewis' perspective shifted. And in 1929, he finally accepted that there was a God. And 2 years later, he became a committed Christian and joining the Church of England. He later said, "I gave in and admitted that God was God, perhaps the most dejected and reluctant convert in all England." Lastly, the writing career and the Chronicles of Narnia. So after his conversion, Lewis began writing both. So he wrote a fiction and non-fiction that explored faith, morality, and imagination. Some of his most famous non-fiction works include The Screwtape Letters and Mere Christianity. However, his most celebrated creation is the 7th-book fantasy series, The Chronicle of Narnia. The first book, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, was published in 1950. So, fun fact, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe was one of my favorite books too, and it was my childhood books. And then Lewis said that the idea began with a single mental image of one carrying an umbrella in a snowy forest. From that one image, he built an entire world. And Narnia became a land filled with talking animals, brave children, and the great lion Aslan, who represents goodness, sacrifice, and redemption. Although Lewis insisted that Narnia wasn't a strict Christian allegory, his faith naturally influenced the story. Themes of forgiveness, courage, and the victory of good over evil are deeply woven into every book that he wrote. Over time, the Chronicle of Narnia became one of the most beloved series in literary history, selling over 100 million copies in more than 40 languages. Now we're going to talk about the successful life and also the later life and also the legacy. In the 1950s, Lewis' fame continued to grow. In 1954, he accepted a position as Professor of Medieval and Renaissance Literature at Cambridge University. It was so amazing that from Oxford and then Cambridge University, it's such an accomplishment and a role that allowed him to focus more on writing. During this time, he met Joy Davidman Gresham, an American writer, and they married in 1956, but sadly, Joy was diagnosed with bone cancer not long after. Her illness and eventual death in 1960 had a profound effect on Lewis. He wrote a powerful book titled A Grief Observed, where he shared his raw feelings of pain and doubt, showing that even a man of faith could question and struggle with loss. C.S. Lewis passed away on November 22, 1963 at his home in Oxford called Dickens. Strangely, his death occurred on the very same day that President John F. Kennedy was assassinated, and also Aldous Huxley, another famous writer, also died at the same day. Because of that, his passing received little attention at the time. But his legacy has continued to grow. His ideas about imagination, morality, and the nature of faith continue to influence literature, philosophy, and even modern film.